The alien mother and her human protector. The storm swept across the frontier colony like a hammer, slamming dust and shards of broken stone into every crack of metal and glass. Commander Elias Cade leaned against the bulkhead of his outpost shelter, jaw clenched as he watched the settlement's perimeter shields flicker. He'd been stationed on Arden for long enough to know this wasn't just weather. It was a cover for raiders. And right on cue, the alarms began to howl. Elias grabbed his rifle and helmet, stepping out into the scarlet haze. The colony was already in chaos. Families rushing toward shelters, militias scrambling to defensive posts, mothers clutching their children. That was when he saw her. Not human. She stood at the edge of the square, her body tall and slender, with skin like hammered bronze and eyes that glowed faintly gold in the storm. Her arms wrapped around a swaddled infant whose wails cut through the wind. Fear twisted her sharp features, but she didn't move, frozen like prey. A colony worker shouted at her in panic. Not her kind. Leave her outside. Elias didn't think. He moved. He crossed the square in long strides, pulled his cloak around her shoulders, and snapped. With me. His voice was steady enough that she obeyed without hesitation, clutching her child tighter. They sprinted toward the shelter entrance as a skimmer, full of raiders, dropped from the storm. Bullets tore the air behind them. Elias shoved her inside, sealed the hatch, and raised his rifle in a single fluid motion. 3 raiders hit the dirt before the others peeled off, not expecting resistance so close to the shield. By the time Elias followed inside, the alien woman was pressed against the wall, chest heaving, her infant hidden beneath her cloak. Her eyes locked on him. "Why?" she whispered, her accent rough but intelligible. Elias pulled off his helmet. "Because you're holding a child. Doesn't matter whose." When the storm finally passed, the colony counted its dead. For men gone, several injured. Supplies looted from the outer storehouses. And questions about why the commander had dragged an off-worlder into their shelter. Elias answered them with the flat certainty of a soldier. "She stays. She's under my protection until the colony council decides otherwise." The council didn't like it. Whisper spread fast. She was Zyran, one of the displaced tribes scattered after the Dominion Wars. Many colonists still blamed her people for atrocities committed years before. But Elias didn't bend. Over the next days, Elias noticed things. The alien mother, her name was Illyra, was quiet, dignified, but carried the exhaustion of someone who had been hunted too long. She spoke little, but her hands were skilled, repairing broken circuits, binding wounds with strange herbs she carried. The colonists who sneered at her work still accepted the results when their sick recovered. Her child, a small girl with iridescent eyes, rarely stopped crying unless Illyra sang in her own tongue, low, haunting notes that made Elias pause every time he passed her quarters. One evening, while Elias was cleaning his rifle, Illyra spoke from the shadows of the barracks. "You should not guard me. It puts you in danger." He didn't look up. "It's my job." "No," she said softly. "Your job is to guard humans. Not me. Not her." She shifted the infant in her arms. "You will be hated for this." Elias finally met her gaze. "Lady, I've been hated plenty. Doesn't change what's right." Something unreadable flickered across her golden eyes. Respect, or perhaps sorrow. The raiders returned 3 nights later. This time, they weren't after supplies. They wanted Illyra. The outpost sensors caught the message broadcast across the canyon. "Hand over the Zyran woman and her spawn. Do this, and we leave you unharmed. Refuse, and you all burn." The council panicked. Some shouted to give her up. One alien isn't worth the colony. Others argued she was just bait, that surrender wouldn't save them. Elias didn't wait for debate. He checked his weapons, loaded extra mags, and stood outside Illyra's door. She looked at him with tired resignation. You should let them take me. They will kill you for nothing. Maybe, Elias said, but they'll kill you for sure. And your girl. Not while I breathe. Lyra's throat worked as if she wanted to argue, but instead she whispered, Then I fight with you. She laid her child gently in a cradle fashioned from spare supplies. For the first time, Elias saw fire in her eyes, not just fear. The battle for the outpost was savage. Raiders poured through breaches in the shield, their weapons crackling with plasma. Colonists fought desperately, many for first time. Elias moved like a machine, directing squads, firing with deadly precision. And always near him, Lyra. She fought with a pair of curved blades that seemed almost alive in her hands. Her bronze skin gleamed with sweat, her movements fluid and terrifyingly graceful. Elias caught himself staring more than once, but there was no time for distraction. Hours blurred. Bodies fell. Fires raged. At one point, Elias was thrown to the ground by an explosion. A raider raised his weapon over him, only to collapse with Lyra's blade buried in his chest. She pulled Elias to his feet, without a word, eyes blazing. When dawn came, the raiders lay broken across the canyon floor. The colony had survived, scarred but alive, and they had seen who had helped save them. In the aftermath, the council gathered once more. This time, no one spoke against Lyra. Too many had witnessed her blades carving their survival. Too many owed their lives to her strange medicines. She was offered shelter, rations, even a place on the work rolls. But when Elias found her that night, she was sitting by her child's cradle, expression heavy. You can stop now, she said. Your duty is finished. I will not be hunted here anymore. Elias leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. Maybe, but you're still alone. And this place, it isn't kind to the alone. Her lips parted as if to reply, but she said nothing. Weeks turned into months. The colony slowly healed, and Elias found himself spending more time in Lyra's company. She asked about human customs, human food, human lullabies. In return, she taught him fragments of her tongue, showed him how to brew medicine from the desert plants, how to listen to the wind for signs of raiders. The child grew stronger, her golden eyes following Elias whenever he entered. Once, she reached tiny hands toward him, and Lyra smiled, a small, fragile thing, but real. Elias realizing that somewhere between storm and fire, he had crossed an invisible line. He wasn't just a protector anymore. He was something more. The past, however, does not release its grip so easily. A Dominion bounty hunter arrived in the colony half a year later, offering hard coin for the Zyran mother and her child. Traitors, he called them. Fugitives. Dangerous. The council wavered. Elias did not. He met the bounty hunter in the canyon with his rifle steady and voice like steel. She's under my protection. If you want her, you go through me. The bounty hunter sneered. One man against the Dominion? Elias smiled without humor. One man, and an entire colony she saved. Take your chances. The hunter left. That night, as stars spread across the desert sky, Lyra stood beside Elias on the watchtower. Her child slept in the barracks below. You have given too much for me, she whispered.